Okay. Recording. Can you all see my screen here?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, let's get started. So thank you for coming. Today is Thursday, November 7th, 6 p.m. Central Time. My name is Josh Rosenfeld. You're in the Chatbot Challenge. We're going to be learning how to use Vapi today to do voice AI for inbound calls. It also works for outbound calls. I'm not going to teach you that today, but it's the same bot that handles both. So let's get started. So I recorded Zoom, so I'll get rid of this. So over here on the right of this screen is this workflowy document, which I like to use to take notes. I'm going to share this with you. You can view it. It's a free tool. I love it. I highly recommend it. It's like Notion, but not as complex at all. So I'm going to put that in the chat here for y'all. Okay, no problem, Christian. You can hide. Cool. So there's the workflowy link that we're going to be using today. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So if you want to see a bunch of demos that have already been created, this is my new company, Zenny AI. My partner's name is also Josh. So he and I started this conversational AI company. We do a lot more than that now. It's been going for like 9 months. We've moved way on past closed bot chatbots, like all the way up to 3D people. So after I mastered, I would say master, but after I got really good at CloseBot, and I taught you guys CloseBot, I started getting into voice AI because we had a lot of clients that were asking about it, and we made a bunch of demos. I put the link in here so you guys can check out all these demos. There's also regular chatbot demos, so feel free to call these numbers. This demo number up here is killer. You literally can give the name of your company and the niche, and the voice AI will do a demo of itself for your own niche. I'm not going to show you the prompting for that because it's kind of special sauce stuff, but I'm going to show you how to make bots just like these, okay? Any questions before we get going? All right, let's do this thing. Okay, so Vapi.ai, you're going to pay money or you're going to sign up. I don't know how much it costs. I don't really care. If you want to get into voice AI, unless you roll your own solution, which we're actually doing right now, you got to pay this cost. I don't know. There's other solutions out there. There's retail. There's agentic or agent-centric or something. There's a ton of solutions out there. We used Vapi initially because it was really easy to get into. It's actually quite powerful, very powerful. It's gotten better over time. If you're using Go High Level, you can integrate directly with Go High Level if you know what you're doing using Make. So I'm not going to get into that, but if you're an advanced user and you're using Go High Level, which is the CRM that I like to use, I'm not going to show you how to do any of that stuff today. This is going to be the basics, okay? So once you get and pay for your Vapi account, you're going to see a dashboard kind of like this. I don't like it in this light mode, so real quickly, I'll show you the first menu item. Yeah, I'm going to go to dark mode. So right now we're over here. I was in the settings and menu. I'm going to go over this menu real quick and show you guys what it is. So the overview tab is what shows you all of your, it's a dashboard for your agents and how much money you've been paying essentially for calls, OpenAI, voice to text, text to voice. If it's not loading, it's a Vapi issue. So let's just refresh that. I never ever look at this dashboard, to be honest with you, because as the main developer with this, I'm not, oh geez. I'm not super concerned with costs. Let me get rid of this. Doesn't like the overview. Oh no. Admit. What's going on here? Of course, Vapi has to crash on me. That's no good. Let me. Oh, nuts. Well, that's a challenge. So if you can't get Vapi to load, you're going to find it super challenging. Clearly. Don't know why it's doing that. Let me, oh,
By
nuts.
turning off your camera, maybe the bandwidth.
Maybe. All right, I'm going to turn off my camera for a second and see if that works. I've done this many times sharing screens and it didn't make any difference. I'm almost positive that's not the issue, but let's find out. So no. Okay, here we go. Okay, my camera's going to be off. So thanks for that recommendation. But just to know, I do work on Zoom calls all the time looking at Vapi. So this is showing you who called and all this stuff. I'm not going to go over this. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's not what you guys want to learn. You guys want to learn how to make assistants, get phone numbers, knowledge base, things like that. So let's do it, okay? So on the menu on the left, the main menu, you have your overview, which is this dashboard. You have the platform menu, which is where you make your assistants, where you buy your numbers, where you upload files, just like a knowledge base in CloseBot or any other assistant agent, you can give it knowledge. There are tools, which are functions. I'm not going to get into this too much, but this is where you would connect to a tool like Make to then or GHL directly if you know how to use the API. We're not going to talk about blocks, and we're not going to talk about squats. Okay. The voice library, and I'm going to go back to these, but the voice library is where all of your voices are stored. These are ElevenLabs voices. I'm going to tell you guys about ElevenLabs. Okay, and this is ElevenLabs is a tool you can use. I'm not going to show you how to do this right now, but you can figure it out to clone your voice. So I'm going to use my voice for this VoiceBot. Okay, and it works really well. Then you have logs, call logs, API requests, and webhooks, and I'll show you what these look like when I show you an actual assistant. So going down to the bottom, you can set your profile. I'm not going to mess with that. This is interesting. You could add organizations, which are good because it allows you to break up. You'll see I have hundreds and dozens and dozens, at least, assistants in different organizations. These could be clients, folders, if you will. You can break it up how you want. Billing, you pay very small transactional fees on here, 9 cents, 25 cents. So be aware of that. It's challenging. Your credit card will think there's a lot of fraud going on. So that's something that you need to know about is if Vapi's not working and you're like, what's going on? Check your credit card, seriously, because there's so many microtransactions, it looks fraudulent. Members is where you can add members to your project. Settings is where you can turn on HIPAA compliance, which means that it's a medical records type deal. So if you turn on HIPAA compliance, you won't get any call recordings or logs and none of that stuff. So I don't have it turned on. We have some legal clients that will require it. So there's ways around it when I get into showing you call analysis, how to see what happened during the call, to set fields in your CRM, for instance, and not record the call and not expose any private information. I'm not going to get into HIPAA, but that's HIPAA. So your Vapi server is right here. I got a Make URL in here. Make is a tool that allows you to do no code or low code programming. You can connect to APIs. You can connect to Go High Level. You can do all sorts of neat things. So I put this in here. This is advanced, so I'm not going to get totally into it. I'm not going to delete my organization. API keys. These are public and private API keys for you to use when you want to integrate, for instance, Vapi with Make. I'm not going to go over that either. And then you have provider credentials. This is important. So this is where you're going to put in your API keys for OpenAI. Okay, so that you can bill. They'll bill you for their OpenAI usage. But it's much better if you put in your own API key. I also chose Anthropic because it has a bunch of different LLMs, which I'll show you. Nothing else is filled out, but as you can see, this connects to all sorts of different tools and features via this provider credentials tab. So this is important, and this is organization agnostic. So as I change organizations, the provider credentials, actually, I don't know if they change. No, they don't change. So the provider credentials, actually, that's not accurate. They do change. I just didn't see it. The reason is because different clients may have different API keys to bill them. So if you want to use ElevenLabs, you need the ElevenLabs API key. I'm not going to get into API keys. Okay. So now we're going to move on. And here's the dark and light mode. Okay. So now let's get into the good stuff. Okay. So we're done talking about the program, like the basic settings and whatnot. So I'm going to close that over here. Now let's get into assistants. This is the fun stuff. Okay, so I'm an assistant here, and obviously I have a ton of assistants I've already created. Most of these are on that demos page I just showed you, which is up here. So what you're going to do is, this is going to be blank when you first come here. All you got to do is click Create Assistant, and you give the assistant a name. We'll call it Chatbot or VoiceBot Challenge. This is internal. No one will see this but you. I always start from a blank template. If you want to learn how to prompt properly, we're going to do a shortcut to do prompting, learning how to write the prompt. You can load these quick start templates so you can kind of see how different things are set up. We're not going to do that. Okay. So I'm going to create that assistant. And it comes through completely blank. So what do we do? So let's quickly go over the different sections of an agent and from the top down. Okay. So if you want to talk to your assistant and test it and have a conversation with it in your browser, you do that with the Talk with Assistant button, which we're going to do. Here is your voice agent key, which you will use if you are an advanced user. I'm not going to get into why you would use this today. Okay. So here it shows the costs. Don't forget, Vapi's not free. It costs money to use the calling, the transcriber, all these different things. And so these two things here show you average cost per call per minute and the latency. That means how slow it's going to be between them talking, going to OpenAI or whatever LLM we choose, and coming back and talking to me talking, and then it talking to me. There's a delay sometimes. It's gotten so low that it's barely noticeable. This was an issue a while ago, but it's getting better and better. Eventually, this will mean nothing, okay? So let's get into the beef of this tool for doing your prompting. So here's the model. If you're familiar with chatbots or OpenAI, any of those things, this is where you put in your prompting. This is where you load knowledge base articles, where you choose your model for your LLM. I always like to do the 4.0 cluster. There's different reasons for doing different models. I'm not going to get into why or what. But I've got OpenAI, all these different models I could use. We've had good luck. I've had good luck with OpenAI, but feel free to change this and try it out yourself. But we're going to stick with OpenAI, okay? The knowledge base is where you load knowledge base articles, which I'll show you how to do later. The temperature is obviously what controls the randomness of the bot, the voice agent talking. 7's fine. I sometimes lower it. The max tokens, again, I don't mess with this too much, but it's how much chunks of your prompt get sent to the bot get sent to OpenAI at once. I keep it set here. I don't really mess with this. And then detect emotion. I usually turn on detect emotion. If you guys are using CloseBot, you know there's something the bot can detect the emotion and like just stop the chat. This doesn't do anything, but it allows me to, if the person is angry, then do this, then do that. I never mess with this. I just always turn it on. Okay. So the model is where we're going to write our prompt and our first message. This is what the VoiceBot says when you call it. Hi, this is Bob at so-and-so marketing. Can I help you? That's where the message goes. And we're going to have a OpenAI write all this for us. Okay. So I'm going to move on. The transcriber. So there's model. This is the LLM, the prompt. Here's the transcriber. This is speech to text, which means when I talk, something has to turn it into text that OpenAI can read. So this is where that happens in the transcriber. STT, speech to text. There's a few providers. I like Deepgram. This just gets billed through OpenAI. There's nothing you can do about it. You have to have speech to text. The new OpenAI voice assistance does it for you, but that's not built in yet. So I like Deepgram. The language setting is how the bot is listening. It's listening for English. But if someone says, can you please speak Chinese or Spanish or French, it will. But it's not listening for those languages. This too is getting more robust. There are some multi-language listeners in here, which means that right now that listens for English or Spanish. And this is really important because we have clients that are bilingual. And if the caller says like, hola, mi nombre es, and it doesn't know that it could be hearing Spanish, it's going to kind of speak English until it says, please speak Spanish. So it's not super elegant. So if you need to do bilingual Spanish-English, you can choose multi. If you know that everyone's calling is going to be like in Quebec, you could change it to French, Chinese, Italian. There's tons of languages, and they're adding languages to it, okay? The model, I never change it from Nova-2 if I'm using Deepgram. And if you change these settings, it looks like, well, why wouldn't I want conversational AI? Or I'm doing something for medical. They recommend don't doing that, but this is just basically exposing the Deepgram models. And you can play around with these. There's nothing wrong with it. But after doing this for 4 months straight, thousands and thousands of calls and test calls and listening to call transcripts, this seems to be the most effective. So this is the transcriber, the speech to text. Any questions? Okay, cool. Let's go on. The voice. This is where it gets cool. So the voice has a provider. And I mentioned the word ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs is a third-party provider of voices that allows you to clone your own voice. So you see here, there's all these different possible tools, Azure, Microsoft, Cartesia. There's all these different voice providers. This is text to speech. So you have speech to text and text to speech. Okay, so that's what this is. You can change the voice here. There are tons and tons of voices, really neat voices for all these different things here. I'm going to do an ElevenLabs voice. I like ElevenLabs. I'm paying for it, so why not? I wonder if, yeah, there's me. So I already have my voice loaded. So I'm going to just already preset this to JR. So I have my clients in here. No, actually, is it me or this one? Well, let's try it. So I'm gonna set it to me. When this thing talks, you'll hear me. So you can add a voice ID manually from ElevenLabs. I'm not going to get into that. The model, this is dependent on what provider you're choosing. So ElevenLabs, it gives you these options here. I use 11 Turbo V2, but you can play around with these. You'll learn more as you use it. Okay. These settings down here start getting, these are important. So the background sound, it defaults on. The background sound makes it sound like they're calling from an office. So you hear voices and typewriters and stuff. Kind of cool, but we found that for most instances, unless it's like a receptionist at a hair salon or something, you don't want voices background. Like a law firm, you want quiet. They should have a headset on, the actual receptionist you're replacing. So I turn that off. The input minimum characters is how many characters get passed to the voice provider. So the default is 10. You don't have to mess with it. But when we were doing some prompting where the bot said, hello, what's your name? And if they said like Bob, that's 3 letters. So it wasn't getting sent yet. So 10's usually enough, but I'm going to set it to 1. It doesn't cost any more money. So punctuation boundaries, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to get into it, but this allows you to, it puts a pause in the text based on punctuation. I never mess with that. I don't ever mess with filter injection enabled, back channeling enabled. I do like taking out the background denoising, so I turn that on. These settings down here are directly related to the provider that you choose. So if I chose Cartesia or OpenAI, there'd be some different options down here. But this is what controls how the voice sounds on the phone, how stable it is, how much variance there is to the original voice that was recorded, how much it exaggerates. Streaming latency can be optimized, and then speaker boost just makes the synthesized speech sound a little better at the cost of generation speed. But the latency, which we talked about here, is already so low that I don't really notice anything. I don't have to turn this up. So I like to leave these at the default, and then you play with them as you call and test your VoiceBot over and over again to see what makes it sound slightly better. So for instance, if you want someone to sound a little bit more excited, you could lower it to make it more variable. If you want someone to sound really similar and be clear based on their original voice recording, you set it up, but setting it too high can cause issues and setting it too low can cause issues. Style exaggeration, I do sometimes put this to 0.1, so it doesn't sound so monotonous. The voice could be very talking robotically like this. Sounds like the person, but it just gets a little monotonous. But this is all, you're gonna have to test this and listen to it and test your bot out, which we'll do, okay? So I'm going to move on. Any questions on this voice part? No, great. Functions is getting more advanced. I'm not going to get too into this. So tools are functions are calls to your server that make certain things happen, like check a contact and go high level, send a text message through go high level, whatever. You load the tools that you've created here. I'm not going to load any of these, okay? Because it's more advanced. These functions are important. So when someone's talking to your bot, you want the bot to know what to hang up when it calls over. So you don't get charged. It doesn't, the guy's not going, hello, I'm waiting. You hang up first. Nothing like that. So I always turn on and enable end call function. So the bot just kind of assumes the call's over and it hangs up. And you could also put in an end call phrase. So if you tell the bot to say goodbye when the conversation is done, which we're going to do, it will also hang up. So this takes a little trial and error and testing your bot on the phone, not with this test bot button up here. You have to actually call it for this to work. Custom functions is being deprecated, so we're not going to get into that. Okay. Forwarding phone number. If for some reason the bot doesn't pick up, which should be impossible, right? But if it doesn't, you don't want the client to lose the call. So you can give a number that the call will be forwarded to if for some reason the AI doesn't pick up. We've never ever had to use that, okay? Moving on to the advanced settings, there is a per assistant HIPAA compliance. Again, if I turn it on, I would get no logs, no recordings, no transcriptions. It makes it very hard to test, first of all, and only do this if your client must have it on. And if they do, you're going to lose a lot of functionality, which I'll talk about. Audio recording. This is important. If you turned on HIPAA, this would be default off, but audio recording, when you see when you talk to your assistant, all the audio gets recorded, and I'll show you. We're going to look at it, the waveform, the transcription. It's really cool. So also for some of our legal clients, for instance, they want to hear the calls afterwards. So we are through functions and various ways, we are taking this audio recording that Vapi provides and sending it to them as an attachment in an email. We pull it from Vapi, store it on our own server, and send it to them so they can always hear the conversation back without having to log into Vapi. I'm also not going to get into how we do that, but just know you want to record your audio. I've never turned on video recording. I guess it'll be if you're recording a web call. This start speaking plan is relatively new, but you could pretty self-explanatory. How long should I wait before the assistant starts speaking? I don't know what smart endpointing is, but it has something to do with APIs and more advanced. We're not going to get into it. To wait after punctuation, so comma, period. If it's going too quick, which sometimes it does, you keep going and then you should stop or have an exclamation point. It just goes right in. So this is cool now. You can actually turn this up or down. This is new. If there's no punctuation, if the transcription ends without punctuation, how long to wait? Meaning, this is brand new, so I'm not 100% sure what that does. I'm not going to mess with it. So on number seconds, minimum second to wait of the number. So these are new. I don't totally know what they do, but it doesn't break your bot. You can mess with them on yourself. Stop speaking plan is also new, but this means the number of words a customer has to say to stop talking, meaning the bot's going to keep talking and talking and talking. If a customer, the caller, interrupts the bot, how many words you want the bot to wait before it stops talking and lets the customer speak? 0 means it's going to stop speaking right away and listen. And that seems to be pretty good because, a receptionist would probably maybe say 1 or 2 words and stop talking, but so 1's okay. This is how many seconds a customer has to speak before the assistant stops talking. So if I go bop, and that's it, the assistant's going to keep talking. But if I talk for 0.2 seconds, it's also going to stop. So this is new because it wasn't stopping speaking, apparently, if the customer keeps talking, and it wasn't a great experience. So this is cool. Back off seconds, the number of seconds that it waits. So basically, if the assistant stops, it's always going to wait a second before it starts talking again, just so it hears you and be respectful. You can turn this down, turn this up on your preferences, what your client says when they hear their bot. This is when the call times out. So if no one's talking for 30 seconds, which is quite a long time, frankly, the bot's going to end the call. And this saves you money, but you may have a bot that says, okay, I'm going to, go get your insurance card and I'll wait. And we have things like that where the bot will just wait for you to respond. So 30 seconds seems to be enough. This is the maximum amount that the call will last. 1800 seconds is minutes and minutes, right? But you can jack this all the way up to like an hour. So your preferences, it's your money. The more the call lasts, the more expensive it's going to be. Okay. Some calls require that. We have some complex bots that handle customer service, logging into databases, getting data, sending it back, having the caller do different things and all sorts of stuff. So that's where you'd mess with this. Messaging, this is advanced down here. So when you want to make an this is the post request. These are built-in functions that get set that you can utilize. I'm not going to get into any of this stuff, but just know that when you add your own tools, you just got to select them here, I think. Let's see. Here's my call. Oh, no, wait. Again, this is super advanced. You're not going to want to mess with this. So I'm not going to mess with either. So this is cool. If you have an outbound caller, if you're using this for outbound calling, which we're not going to do today, and the machine goes off, it will actually leave a message in the voice that you have selected up in voice. So that's kind of neat. The end call message is what the bot will automatically say when it thinks the call is over. So goodbye. I can also prompt it to say that, which as you saw here, can get it to end on its own. So it's kind of doing double security here, if you will. You could change this to be thank you for calling, have a nice day, whatever you want. That's one way to do it. So if the user isn't responding, like a human will go, excuse me, sir, are you still there, ma'am? Are you still there? You can choose what to say if there's no response. I don't turn this on because it only, for now, responds in English. So if someone's speaking Spanish to your bot, it's going to say, are you still there, sir, in English, even if they don't understand English. So we don't mess with this too much. This is how many times that the message will be spoken during the call. It won't ask, are you there? Are you there? Do you still need assistance more than whatever time you set it. And then this is how long it waits before it triggers an idle message. And again, I don't turn any of these on usually. So that's all the advanced features of Vapi. And you're not going to mess with too many of these. You can leave most of this on and not ever touch it, okay? Analysis is where you start getting into some advanced stuff. Analysis is what enables you to, after the call is done, it will analyze the call for you. It will determine if the call was a success, and then it will pull out information from the call, like first name, last name, phone number, anything it thinks fits those data points. It will literally pull out for you, and you could, in the functions thing where it was doing like after call functions, and this is advanced, it will send all these data points to your server to do with what you want, like in Go High Level, you could set fields, things like that. I'm not going to get into it too much. We will write some quick prompts for all of these things as we build our bot, which we're about to do. Okay, so you have, this is the summary. It will summarize your call, and this is what I will send to clients, right? It summarizes the call, they get a text message, they can see it, oh great, then they can move on. The success evaluation is this call successful based on how I think it's successful, how the bot may think it's successful. You can get very creative with this. A rubric means tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me if the call was excellent, good, fair, or poor. Tell me if it sounded like you're an interested customer. It's quite amazing what you can get it to figure out on its own. It's really quite impressive. And then this is the structured data where you literally, and we'll do this, you tell it what data you want to pull out, and it will give you that in a transcript, but it's not pulling it out in individual fields. So any questions before we start making a prompt? No? Okay, let's do this. So what niche, whoever tells me what niche they want, for whoever raises their hand in this thing and gives me a niche is what we're going to do, unless it's a ridiculous niche. Anyone? Christian, Scott.
Solar?
Which one? Solar?
Yeah.
Done. Okay. So here's how I like to do this. So I'm going to open up my buddy, ChatGPT, and hold on one second here. Make sure everything's looking good. So this is how I like starting my prompting. And as you do this, you'll get better and better and better and better and better. So let me get ChatGPT open real quick. Okay. So 4.0 is fine. You can use preview or the canvas. I don't care what you use. So I'm going to say, I need to write a voice AI prompt for Vapi.ai, because it will look at it, knows what it is, actually. A voice AI prompt for Vapi AI for the solar niche. This voice AI is a receptionist that understands solar industry and can make recommendations. And then I also want to say, I also need the first message. The voice AI will say when the customer calls. So put your own niche in there, guys, honestly. You can do this manually, but watch this. So I do that. Here's a nice concise prompt. So there are 1,001 ways to write prompts. So as this goes, I'm not going to show you my prompting, but I've got complex prompts. I got simple prompts. I got long prompts. I got short prompts. If you stop this tape and watch what's going on here, you can see some stuff. But, prompts can be as short as this and work totally amazingly well. So the length of the prompt is really determined by how well the caller is. And we're going to test this in about 2 minutes. Okay, so here is my prompt. So I'm going to copy this out. And there's a ton of ways to program a prompt in Vapi. You can do it programmatically, if else, all these things. So I'm just going to paste this in here because you'll be shocked at how good this works on the first try. Here's the first message. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to copy in my first message. Hi, my name is, thanks for calling Chatbot Solar. My name is, so now just to know, the first message, the prompting doesn't necessarily know what the first message is. So if I say my name's Josh, the prompt, I don't think knows my name is Josh. So I'm going to say you're a friendly virtual receptionist named Josh. And yes, your prompt can be, in a more structured method where it's got objective, task, however you write your prompts in OpenAI or ChatGPT or kind of in CloseBot, but not totally. It will work, okay? So here's all our settings. I'm not going to add a knowledge base. I've got my voice selected. Transcribers, Deepgram, publish. Publish is save, okay? So I haven't saved this yet, so I'm going to save it. Let's give me a call. Hopefully you guys can hear.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Chabtot Solar. My name's Josh, and I'm here to help answer any questions about going solar. May I have your name, please?
My name is, oh, it stopped. So if you start messing with the prompt mid-call, oh, wait, see, it hangs up. So there was a mistake. Sorry, let me do that again. It said Chabtot, so you'll hear in real time. So let's do it again. Can you guys hear? Yes? No?
Hi there. Thanks for calling Chatbot Solar. My name's Josh, and I'm here to help answer any questions about going solar. May I have your name, please?
Yeah, my name is also Josh. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Josh. Where are you located? This will help me provide the most relevant information for your area.
Hold on, I had a question, Josh. Where are you located?
I'm a virtual receptionist, so I'm here to assist you from a digital space. Our company operates nationwide, so we can help you no matter where you're located.
Awesome.
How can I assist you?
Yeah, so
Great.
hold on, Josh. What can you tell me? I live in Illinois, Chicago area. What can you tell me about my solar options?
Thanks for sharing your location, Josh. In the Chicago area, switching to solar can offer several benefits. One,
Okay.
savings on electric.
I'm going to end that call. So as you can see, with a very simple prompt that took us 2 seconds to write, this is already a killer receptionist. Killer. So what do we need to add to it to make it better? Well, how about we do something like this? I'll go to Wikipedia and I'll do solar panels, or just solar energy. Let's do this. Solar energy for the home. Okay. Let's see. That's not a good one. Let's do
Solar energy benefits.
sure. Benefits. Good one. So anything you want to, we're going to make a knowledge-based article so that it actually knows more about solar. So I'm just going to go to, I mean, you shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna, no, I don't like that one. Oops, sorry. All the advantages of solar energy. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, all this text. Don't do this, but I'm going to do it. Copy all this text. Oop. Don't want to copy that, paste. I'm going to go to Google Docs. I'm going to make a new document. I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to export this as a Word doc. Okay, so now it's downloaded. So now in Vapi, make sure this is published. Even if you move around, it stays in memory. So we need to add to the knowledge base so it's more knowledgeable, right? So what you do for that is we're going to get into the files menu. So the files menu is where you upload files. So if you're familiar with uploading files in CloseBot or other different tools, this isn't labeled well, so that's my bad, but whatever. So I'm going to do that. You do upload file, and there it is, untitled document, docx. So if we go back to our assistant, down here, VoiceBot challenge, there's this knowledge base pull down. I'm going to set it to untitled document, and I'll publish that again. And the main difference, by the way, between using information in a knowledge base, like call scripts or company information, all that stuff, it will query that rather than knowing it in one long prompt, which isn't always optimal, because it's going to look at the prompting first, and it's always like in cache and in memory, but it doesn't know what's in the knowledge base until it queries the knowledge base. That's kind of an advanced use case, but I'm not going to mess with it. So I know that this is already in here. So if I ask the question, watch. So when I say, I'm not going to call it yet because I want to add some more things here. Okay, so I'm going to continue here. Are there any questions? Because I'm going to start going quicker. Okay, good. So we've got my voice. Sounds just like me. I mean, I'm pretty impressed actually with that. But I want to go into analysis because this is important. I'm going to show you a call analysis. So before I do this analysis, if I go to the call logs, I'm going to see a call that I just did, VoiceBot challenge. When I click on it, look what it shows me. I can listen to the audio file.
Hi there. Thanks for calling chat.
Right, and I can see both parties talking. So that's a great way to see how your bot's performing. Here's the transcript, AI user. So it transcribes everything for me. There's no analysis going on. at least a robust analysis, but it did a simple one. This is a call between two individuals named Josh. The customer is located in Chicago, inquiring about solar options, and the voice receptionist beginning to explain the benefits. So you can imagine, you could have 1,000 calls coming in a day. You could send the analysis to the salespeople, and their job is much easier because they're looking at small, text summaries on their contact list, like in their CRM Go High Level, for instance. But we're not telling you if it's a good call or a bad call. Messages, these are, JSON files. You don't need to mess with this. Call cost. So that was a 5 cent. That thing I just did was 5 cents. So, it costs money, but whatever. It's super cool. I don't really care because I don't pay the bill. My partner, Josh, also, his name is Josh. He pays the bill. Okay. So let's make are there any questions? Okay, good. Let's keep going. So with our assistant, it's looking great, sounding good, haven't run into issues yet. Let's tweak the analysis a bit. So this is good. This is a good trick. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and I'm going to say, I need you to write the prompt for this part. And then I paste in what I just said, and it's going to do it for me. Crazy, man. This AI is blowing me away every day. So I'm just going to copy this and to put it into my dashboard. I'm going to do the same thing with the success evaluation. Okay, now write this. So as you can see, using ChatGPT or OpenAI or whatever, using an LLM to write content and prompts for an LLM is really a good idea. Wow, look at that. And it's really shocking how good this is on first try. It really is. So I'm going to do that. The success evaluation rubric, I'll say excellent, good, fair, poor. That's how it will rate things. Then finally, we're going to do structured data. Now, write this prompt. And I also like to say great job because I know that positive reinforcement helps the model. Now write this prompt. Paste that in. Look at that. Beautiful. Just sick. I mean, look how much time this is hitting. So I'm going to do this. Copy the quote. Okay, so we're getting there. Cool. Okay, so now we have this. I'm not going to add a property. That's more advanced. You can figure that on your own. I'm going to publish this real quick. I'm not going to call it yet because I'm going to show you one more thing. Okay, now, so you saw how to upload files. Now I'm going to show you phone numbers. So you could import numbers from Twilio with your SID, your auth token, your label. So if you have Twilio and you know how to use it, you can import directly from Twilio. You can also buy numbers. So, let's find an area code. We'll do like, I don't know, 818. Not every area code's available. So if I buy this number, $2 a month, another microtransaction. So all of these assistants you see here all have their own phone numbers. Oh, no, it's not available. So look, this is new. So it's giving you other area codes in that same city. 256, that's fine. I don't love it that much, but it's okay. Area codes you'll find ever like people have a preference big time for that. Okay, cool. So now let's do one more thing. So on phone numbers, this is how you connect your assistant that we made to the phone number, okay? So there's the number. I'm going to select my assistant, which is the VoiceBot challenge. And that's it. So I'm going to paste this number in here into this group chat. I'll paste it into here too. Test the voice bot we made. And I'm going to put it there. So feel free to call this number right now. And you're going to hear what we just had a conversation. But if you don't want to call it right now, that's fine because I want to keep testing this bot. Okay, so you go back to VoiceBot challenge. And this time I'm going to talk to the assistant so you guys can see what the analysis did because it's quite incredible, really. So I'm going to talk to it again. And also I'm going to ask it questions about the benefits of solar energy. Okay, here we go. I'd like to save it again just to be sure. Talk with the assistant.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Chatbot Solar. My name's Josh, and I'm here to help answer any questions about going solar. May I have your name, please?
Yeah, my name's Josh. I had a question. I'd like to know about some of the benefits of solar energy.
Sure, Josh, I'd be happy to explain some of the benefits of solar energy. One, cost savings. Switching to solar can significantly reduce your electricity bills. By generating your own electricity, you rely less on the grid, which means lower monthly utility costs. Two, increased property value. Homes and properties with solar installations tend to have higher.
What about,
market
hold
value.
on, Josh, quiet. What about being a renewable and inexhaustible source of energy? What can you tell me about that?
Sure, Josh, solar energy is both renewable and inexhaustible by definition. While the sun won't last forever, it will remain a constant and abundant source of energy for billions of years. Every day, year after year.
Awesome. Okay, continue on with your pitch. Let's keep going.
Sure, Josh. In addition to being renewable and inexhaustible, solar.
Hold on, stop. I need solar panels. I don't care, Josh. I don't care. I need solar panels in my house. Can you help me? Can you help me, Josh?
Absolutely, I hear.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Of course, Josh, let's continue. Another benefit of solar energy is that it requires.
No, stop telling me the benefits, dude.
Photovoltaic.
Stop. Don't tell me the benefits. I want you to, I'm already convinced. So what do I need to do to get solar panels?
Great, Josh. Since you're already convinced, let's move forward with getting solar panels installed on your house.
Thank you.
Could you please provide? You're welcome, Josh. To get started with solar panels for your house, I'll need to gather a bit more information, such as your location and specific energy needs. From there, we can discuss options like residential installation, financing, or leasing. Could you please share your location and any specific energy requirements you have in mind?
Yeah, I'm in Chicago. I got a 2,500 square foot house. Average energy use. There's 2 people living there.
Great, Josh. With your location in Chicago and a 2,500 square foot house, we can certainly help you explore the best solar options. Considering the average energy use for 2 people, we can customize a solar solution that fits your needs. We offer both financing and leasing. Let's schedule a consultation with one of our solar experts who can assess your property and provide a detailed plan. Would you like to set up an appointment?
Sure, sounds good.
Excellent. To set up an appointment for your solar panel installation in Chicago, I would need to check our schedule for availability. Could you please provide me with a few dates and times that work best for you, Josh?
Tomorrow at 10 a.m. would be good for me, or Monday at 2 p.m.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m. or Monday at 2 p.m. works for me.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and book the appointment for tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Okay. Do you need my phone number? Don't you need my number? Don't you need my phone number?
Yes, Josh, I do need your phone number to finalize the appointment details.
Okay.
Could you please provide your phone number?
Sure, it's 248-252-5252.
Sure, it's 248-252-5252.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you for providing your phone number, Josh. I've noted it down. Your consultation appointment is now confirmed for tomorrow at 10 a.m. One of our solar experts will give you a call at 248-252-5252. If you have any other questions or need to reschedule, feel free to let us know.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
You're welcome, Josh. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Boom. So if that was on the phone, it would have ended the call. As you could tell, this prompting is good, but it's not perfect. We don't have time in this demo here to make it perfect, but just to show you, because I think I already have a solar bot here, and this is secret stuff, but basically you could do way more prompting. And the way we do it, this is just kind of a trick. I'm not going to get into it too much, but we're actually using a tool call that will automatically send text messages to the caller for scheduling. So there's a lot of ways to use existing tools, go high level calendars, make API calls to really extend the prompting to have a lot more functionality. In addition, I'm not going to get into it now, but if you're using a 4.0 GPT, not 3.5 or one of the older models, but the newer models, it will also allow the prompt to be changed in real time based on incoming server webhook. So for instance, if I said, I need solar generators, I could have had different prompting in the single long prompt just for solar generators. It's advanced. I'm not going to get into it, but I can already tell you that we know this prompt isn't good. It didn't ask for my number. It didn't do this. It didn't do that, but it worked. So that's what you're going to find out is that you do a simple prompt, you call it, you talk to it, you reprompt it, you talk to it. You could even go back into your chat GPT and have it help you with your original prompt by saying, I need you to help me with the voice AI prompt. It didn't ask this, it didn't ask that, it needs to do this, it needs to do that. And it will rewrite the prompt for you. You can even say, do the prompt using programmatic prompting, and it will write a really advanced prompt that you just paste in here. Okay. So let's look at our calls. So I said that all your calls are recorded here. Here's the call. So I can see someone just called from a 526 number. So here is me. The assistant said the end call phrase, which is right. That's how the call ended. So if I click on here, you can see that the transcript shows me all these different things in here. In the transcript, it shows the whole conversation. It shows me the analysis where it literally gave me a nice long summary telling me the location. It really analyzed the call well. The success evaluation is a fair call. I don't know why. I would have to study it more, but I didn't really tell it what makes a successful call. If a successful call is a booked appointment, then this would have been a very acceptable call, but we didn't really tell it, so it doesn't know. But look at all the data it pulled out in a JSON file format. So what's cool is that you can manipulate this on your own, or you can send it to the client. If you know what you're doing, you could put it into an API and get it all into Go High Level and match up the properties with custom fields. You can really do a lot of advanced things with that. Again, messages you don't need to mess with. The call cost on that was 24 cents. So it was a 4-minute call. It cost me 24 cents. So if the call, so that is so cheap compared. So 4 minutes. So if it was 60 minutes, it'd be like, I don't know, 15 calls. So 15 times 24 is like $5 or something. I don't know if my math is great. The point is, I hate to say this, but we've just replaced a human for $5 an hour that you can keep training and training and training to make it better and quickly. Whereas you have to teach a call center operator how to work, scripts, all this stuff. You just load the scripts in the knowledge base, and it's ridiculously powerful. Okay. So we've gone through everything here. All right. Except for some of these advanced things here. So API requests, it's not making any. There's no webhooks going out. This is advanced stuff. The end of call reports default by Vapi, where it posts something to an HTTP server that I set up or you set up yourself. Again, the assistants, if I want to change the voice, I'll do this real quick because we got about 10 minutes. So watch, I'll change the voice to try Dora. Publish that. And I'll talk to this person again.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Chatbot Solar. My name's Josh, and I'm here to help answer any questions about going solar. May I have your name, please?
David.
Hi, David. It's great to have you on the call. Can you tell me a bit about your location and what you're looking to achieve with solar energy?
No, I don't want to tell you anything.
No problem, David. I understand. If you have any questions about solar energy or how it can benefit you, feel free to ask. I'm here to help.
No, I really have no questions at all. Thank you. Goodbye. So what's fun about talking to these bots is you can yell at them, you can scream at them, you can go quite nuts. So let's see here. I'm trying to bring up my, this window. So we got about 10 minutes left. I've gone through Vapi. I've showed you all the different all the different features here, except for these couple more few advanced features. We saw how to make an assistant from scratch. I showed you all the menu items here, dark mode, light mode, which is really simple, all the way up to creating your own organizations, which are like folders, right? We looked at billing, we looked at latency, we talked about advanced features, call analysis, different voice providers. I highly recommend you guys check out ElevenLabs if you can. It's really cool. There's other tools coming out. OpenAI, the new OpenAI has its own, I guess, Vapi in it now. It's kind of beta-ish, but you can do voice, text to speech to text, and text to speech, all in OpenAI. So I will tell you that since we've done this, all these things and all these, we have a bunch of clients and all these, we have hundreds of voice bots in different categories. We've already moved on to making our own Vapi, because one thing Vapi doesn't do is, well, a few things. It doesn't do many things. But one thing important that it doesn't do is it isn't you can't text chat with any of these prompts. That's not optimal because you need to use CloseBot or Zappy Chat, right? So, and that's cool and all, but that's two separate LLMs you need to deal with. And so one of the reasons we're redoing this ourselves is we have the resources to do it with the developers that understand it, not me. But being able to have one prompt that can work for both texting and chatting and talking to is amazing. So you got typing to it, you have talking to it on the phone. We've also moved up, like I mentioned, into full 3D avatars running live in Unreal that is piped into the voice AI bot. So we're having actual 3D characters that look like living and deceased people having complete conversations with kind of this technology. So we needed a robust solution that could handle just texting to it, talking to it, and seeing and talking to it. So when that comes out, I'll be sure to share it with y'all. But in the meantime, Vapi is a fantastic solution. It's easy to use. You can get super advanced with it. I didn't get into the advanced stuff, calling functions, using a tool like Make, hooking it into Go High Level. There's all sorts of advanced things. So that is how to make a voice AI bot in Vapi with a phone number and a knowledge base that you can call and see the logs for. So I can already see that other people are calling this. So that's me. So feel free to call this number. If you'd like to work with me or my team, you can email josh@zenny.ai, which is in here. We do custom work. We do client work. We do very large clients, kind of smallish clients. But if it's, under $500 a month, it's not something we're really interested in, which is not a lot of money, frankly, to provide a voice AI solution for someone in a Go High Level sub account and the whole kit and caboodle, so they can effectively have a voice bot, a text chat bot, and see the CRM, so they can see the analysis and they could see the contact and the opportunities and all that stuff. If you're familiar with Go High Level, when you add it with this, it's super powerful. Go High Level doesn't have this built in. Nothing really has this built in. Okay. Any questions? I'll open the floor up to questions. Are there any questions?
Hey, Josh, great presentation, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Sure.
I'm curious how you charge for this, because it sounds like, like you have your high level charges and then you have your Vapi charges and then you have your OpenAI charges. So you have all this constellation of charges going on. How do you come up with like one price per month or charge per usage?
There's a few ways you can do it. There's many ways you can do it. For instance, when we leverage Go High Level and these type of tools, and even if they know what tools you're using, if you're white labeling, and if they say, I'll do it myself, say, good luck. Go ahead, do it yourself. So if they find their own prices and see different math and numbers and come up with their own, I don't really care. So what I usually tell people, what we've been doing is, if the cost is 12 cents a minute, we might be charging 35 cents a minute. That's one way. And then it helps if you have a tool, have someone to do the math and bill and do all that stuff. So that requires a person. We're doing flat rate based on the size of the client, $1,000 a month. It's really what the market will bear. So for instance, we have some clients where we know that we're replacing a person for 24 hours a day. That's 3 people at 8 hours a day. What's the math on that? Even if you're paying them $15 an hour for 24 hours a day? I mean, the sky's the limit on how much I think you can charge for these types of things. If you can justify, and I don't like saying replacing humans, but if you can justify the expense, the reduction in operating costs and the increase of resources available, meaning if you have one receptionist, she can only handle one call at a time. This could handle 100. So pricing it is an art, obviously. You have to read the client, know what they have, know what they don't have. Now, this doesn't include the CRM. So if they want also a CRM for them, they want the Go High Level, they want this, and they want a chatbot, it's definitely going to be like $500 to $1,000 a month minimum. And then if we have like a couple clients have massive call center volume, I mean, massive 20,000 calls a day or something crazy. So the cost per call could go way down. You still could make a fortune. We have other clients that are like law firms. Personal injury lawyers, one call could mean $1 million to a personal injury lawyer. So the value is always going to be different per client, but it's very easy to equate human costs versus AI costs with the added value of providing call analysis. All these extra features that you provide really can boost the value. You could probably get away with $1 a call. But it's not it doesn't have to be cheap. There's definitely money to be made here. And I know this for a fact. There's millions of dollars to be made providing this, because when you learn how to do functions and do other things, our voice bots are looking in databases. They're getting products and going back into the voice bot. So they can become very robust. You can do joint ventures. You can do rev shares, right? Like how many successful appointments am I booking? This is just lead gen also. So if you're doing lead gen, you're calling in, I'll charge you $20 a lead. That's a shitty lead that like they made us have clicked an ad. So imagine if it's a call that has an analysis on it showing you if it was a successful call, a good call, all this data that you can provide from a lead, and a robot's handling the lead. That's all new. The reason I got into the reason I got into AI over a year ago, about 2 years ago, well, maybe a year and a half. No, 2 years almost. It was a year, 2 years, either way. Because I was doing lead gen for electricians for EV chargers, and they didn't answer the phone. They didn't call the lead back right away. All those things that are required to make your lead gen product successful requires the client to call the person after the fact. And it just wasn't effective. So I said, what's a better way to do this? So then I get into adding text chat bots, a closed bot, right, onto your website or your social media, which is awesome, but you can't really drive traffic to it. You can drive traffic to this number. You can post this number on a billboard. You can post this number on your website like we do, and it will answer the calls. It'll replace the person and do more than a person. And the different industries. So you see, there's all these different industries, right? Like, solar. Maybe you could make a 10% of each successful sale or whatever you want to do for a rev share. That could be a ton of money, but you're not charging them for the call. So you do have to have some funds to be able to pay for the calls and stuff until you get paid back with the rev share. So we love rev shares. We love rev shares. We do everything as rev share. We never charge our clients to make this stuff ever, because we have it down to a system and they're really paying for results. They don't care about the development time, right? We don't want to charge a client for that. So if you're doing like realty, for instance, what's that worth? Like I used to work for Zillow, so I know that real estate agents will pay a fortune to sell a house. So if you can provide a dedicated number for a specific listing that people can call from an ad or whatever that they don't have to answer, that's worth a lot of money. A lot of money. If you're doing like an HVAC, I was getting $100, or electricians, let's say, I was getting like $100 a lead for EV leads, just the phone number. Really, like a lot of money for just the lead, let alone an answered call with this and that. I can send text messages to it, set up appointments, do payments. You could do all sorts of stuff. Dentist office, gyms, plumbers, salons, anything you could think of. Because one of our clients wanted to be able to, was calling us all the time with problems, all the time. Your voice bot's doing this, your voice bot's doing that. We literally made a voice bot to handle customer service. Literally, we'll say, what's the problem? We have all these knowledge base articles. So it can replace a person just doing basic customer service calls, right? For commercial cleaning, it's doing quotes based on the knowledge base that has the math in it. It's that smart. So what this can do is quite incredible. I'm learning more every single day, always. And what we've learned, me and my team at Zenny, my partner Josh, we have like 4 or 5 employees. We're learning that a simple prompt works really well most of the time. And then you just make it better and better and better. It just requires a ton of testing. I'm not going to show you how I did it, but I made a testing bot that tests other bots. So I have bots talking to each other and evaluating themselves and doing all these sorts of things. You can get really advanced with this, which is why we moved out of Vapi, because we're already more advanced than what's required for what we need. But if you're just starting out, this will get you very far. You'll be able to get a client. It takes 2 seconds to make a demo for the client. Here, call this number, try it. Oh my God, that's so amazing. We do that all the time. If you call my demo number on Zenny at the very top, It does. What's your niche, Dennis? Okay, hi, hey, this is so and so's dentist office. People are blown away by this, and then when you tell them that they can clone their voice, obviously not every client wants that, but certain personal injury lawyers that advertise on TV, their face is important. Real estate agents that love being the brand. They're the brand. So being able to do that is also really cool. But these built-in voices are also incredible. If you know that you're going to be doing like in Australia, you can have someone with an Australian accent. If you want it to be posh, you can do a British accent to make them sound like they're really educated. Because we fall for that, Americans, right? So you can do so much with this. And all these settings, you're just gonna have to listen what sounds good to you. There's no right settings. There's no right prompting. There's 1,000 ways to do prompting, but these basic settings, just a few transcribers. Voice is pretty straightforward. Functions is advanced, but you can figure that out. The documentation, by the way, folks, is up here. This has very robust document. Actually, that's not true. It has pretty good documentation. But the one thing I don't love about Vapi, I'm old, I'm over 50. So their main service, they use Discord. So if you have Discord, you're into Discord, they've got a huge community of people, advanced Python developers, prompt writers, all trying different things with Vapi. So if you want to learn more, feel free to look in the Discord. There's obviously videos you can watch. But this is pretty relatively easy to get started with, but just like what's that game? It's easy to start, hard to Othello. Wasn't that what it was? Easy to play, hard to master. Remember that game back in the day? So that's voice prompting. You'll never master it. And when you get really good at it, you're going to see all the limitations in Vapi or Retail or Agentic or whatever you use and want to roll your own. But you can get by so far with this. Clients are so blown away by what we can do. And the demos you saw me make a demo in like 10 minutes. Literally, you can make a demo for a client and while you're sitting on the phone with them almost and say, here, call this number. They're like, oh my God, that's so cool. Now I will mention this one last thing. So the assistant demo is kind of cool. So if you click this thing here and I paste it here, it actually allows you to talk to your bot by just pressing on this button. So why would you want to do that? If you want your client to try it out and you don't have a phone number yet, you can just send them this link. Now it's going to be branded to Vapi, but if you don't care, then feel free. We don't like that, right? So we like to white label everything. So there's ways around it to embed this and whatnot. But this is how you can send it to your client to just test it out. I'll show you. It just starts talking.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Chatbot Solar. My name's...
It's the same thing. So that's Vapi in a nutshell. Any other questions? Thumbs up if you like this. If it made sense to you. Do you think you'll be able to make your own bots? Awesome.
So one question on the chat GPT.
Yes.
It's probably something simple, but how did you, when you're like write a sentence and then you want to go on to the next sentence, but I hit enter? Because that always gets me.
Great question. Fantastic question. So I used to write my prompts in a doc because it really pissed me off when it would do that. Here's the trick. Line 1, shift return. Line 2, shift return. Line 3, shift return. Yeah, that is crucial. If you don't know that, it's going to be really hard to do. I do a ton of work in here. I mean, we use this thing all day long. We're shocked at how good it is, and we're getting really, 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 really good at prompting to write prompts, to evaluate conversations. I can literally take my conversation transcript and put and the prompt and say, here's the prompt, here's the transcript, fix it. And it'll just fix it. I mean, it's not as simple as that, but essentially it is. So we're automating stuff. We're having our analysis looked at and then automatically changing prompts. All this stuff that you see here can be done dynamically, all in code. So we're already doing that. We're doing this all in code now. We don't really use any of these things anymore because it gives us a lot more control and we can hit APIs and do all sorts of incredible things and change the prompt in real time based on training, right? So that's super duper advanced, but that's where it's going. But this tool is really great. They've, when you look at Vapi, they're adding stuff, they're adding features. For the average, go high level or whatever, this is a really amazing tool. Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
Anybody else? No problem. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. So I will have this up as a recording in the group by Monday at the latest, so you'll be able to watch it again and again. If there's no questions, thank you everyone for showing up. Have a nice day.
Thanks a lot, man.
No problem.
Appreciate it.